Don't just rinse your tomatoes under the tap the way you've always done. If you think a quick splash of water is enough, you might be leaving behind dirt, wax, or even pesticides that can affect both taste and safety. In today's video, it'll show you the right way to wash tomatoes so they stay fresh, clean, and ready for your favorite recipes. And stick around because I'll also share a few simple kitchen tricks to make preparing tomatoes easier and more enjoyable. Whether you're making salads, sauces, or just snacking, these tips will help you get the most out of every tomato. You're probably still rinsing your tomatoes under running water and thinking they're clean. But the truth is, they're not really clean that way. Instead, here's a much better method to make sure your tomatoes are safe and fresh. Start by preparing a bowl or a basin large enough to hold all the tomatoes you want to wash. Fill it with clean water. Then mix in salt using the ratio of 1 tablespoon of salt for every liter of water. Stir well until the salt is fully dissolved. By the way, where are you watching this video from? Drop a comment below and let me know. Now place your tomatoes into the bowl and let them soak for about 5 minutes. While they're soaking, you can gently rub the surface of each tomato with your hand. Pay extra attention to the stem area because that's where dirt and residue often hide. The salt water works to loosen and lift away pesticide traces, wax, and bacteria that plain water alone can't remove. After the soaking time is up, take the tomatoes out and rinse them thoroughly under clean running water. This step ensures that any salt and loosened residue are fully washed away. Using this method helps remove pesticides more effectively and reduces harmful bacteria, keeping your tomatoes not only fresher but also safer for you and your family. Have you ever tried washing tomatoes this way before? Or maybe you have another trick that works for you. If so, share it in the comments. I'd love to hear your ideas. Once your tomatoes are clean, place them on a clean paper towel and gently pat them dry. Remember, it's not a good idea to wash tomatoes before storing them for a long time. Their natural dry skin helps them last longer. You should only wash them right before you're ready to use them. And now, your tomatoes are perfectly clean, dry, and ready to go into your next recipe. Now let's learn an easy way to peel tomatoes using an air fryer. If you've ever struggled with removing the skin, this method will save you time and effort while keeping your tomatoes fresh and full of flavor. Start by taking a small, sharp knife and making a gentle cross-shaped cut at the bottom of each tomato. You don't need to cut too deep, just score the skin lightly. This little step will make the peeling process much easier later on. Next, preheat your air fryer. Set it to 180 degrees Celsius and let it heat up for about 3 minutes. Preheating is important because it ensures the tomatoes cook evenly and the skin loosens more quickly. Once the air fryer is ready, place your tomatoes in the basket with the cross-cut side facing up. Cook them at 180 degrees Celsius for about 4 to 6 minutes. While the tomatoes are heating, prepare a bowl of cold water and add 1 or 2 ice cubes. This will be used to cool the tomatoes quickly so the skin can separate without overcooking the flesh. Keep an eye on the tomatoes inside the air fryer. When you notice the skin starting to wrinkle and peel away slightly from the cut lines, it's time to turn off the machine. Carefully transfer the tomatoes right into the bowl of ice water. Let them sit there for 1 to 2 minutes so they can cool down quickly. Now comes the fun part. Pick up a tomato and gently pull at the loosened skin. You'll see that it slips right off in just a few seconds, leaving the tomato perfectly peeled with very little effort. This is such a simple trick for peeling tomatoes. It keeps the fruit firm, sweet, and not overcooked, unlike boiling methods that sometimes make tomatoes too soft. It's perfect when you're preparing sauces, soups, or salsa, where you want that fresh tomato flavor without the tough skin getting in the way. With this method, peeling tomatoes becomes fast, clean, and almost effortless. Once you try it, you might never go back to the old way again. The second method is probably the most common one, and you may have even seen it before. Just like with the air fryer method, start by using a sharp knife to cut a small X at the bottom of each tomato. Again, you only need to score the skin lightly, not cut too deep into the flesh. Next, Prepare a pot of water and bring it to a boil. While you're waiting for the water to heat, set a bowl of ice water nearby. This will be important to stop the cooking process later. Once the water reaches a rolling boil, carefully drop the tomatoes in. Let them sit in the boiling water for about 1 minute. Watch closely when you see the skin begin to curl or peel away slightly from the X-cuts. It's time to remove them right away. Immediately transfer the hot tomatoes into the bowl of ice water. Let them rest there for about 1 to 2 minutes. This quick ice bath stops the cooking process and cools the tomatoes so they're easy to handle. Now, take one out and gently peel back the skin starting from the scored lines. You'll notice how easily it slides right off without damaging the flesh of the tomato. With this boiling water method, you really only need to blanch the tomatoes for 20 to 30 seconds if you're in a hurry. As long as you quickly shock them in ice water, the skins will separate almost instantly. This is especially useful when you need to peel a large batch of tomatoes for soups, sauces, or canning. It's efficient, fast, and reliable. On the other hand, the air fryer method we talked about earlier takes about 4 to 6 minutes, with the skins peeling away more slowly. But the bonus there is that the tomatoes keep a slightly sweeter, deeper flavor and even pick up a gentle roasted aroma perfect when you're making salsa or working with just a few tomatoes at a time. So here's the bottom line. If you want speed and need to peel a lot of tomatoes at once, the boiling water method is your best choice. But if you care more about flavor and are working with a smaller batch, the air fryer method will give you that extra richness. Both methods are simple, and once you know them, you'll never struggle with peeling tomatoes again. If you don't plan on using all of your tomatoes right away, don't worry, there's a simple way to save them for later. First, cut the tomatoes into pieces or blend them into a puree, depending on how you'd like to use them next time. For example, diced tomatoes are perfect for soups and stews, while puree works beautifully for sauces. Once they're ready, place the tomatoes into a zip-top freezer bag. Press out as much air as possible before sealing, because removing excess air helps prevent freezer burn and keeps the flavor intact. Don't forget to label the bag with the date, so you'll always know how long they've been stored. Lay the bag flat in your freezer to save space and make it easier to portion later. With this method, frozen tomatoes will keep their quality for about 3 to 4 months. That way, you'll always have tomatoes on hand for pasta, chili, salsa, or any recipe that calls for fresh flavor without worrying about waste. And that is it. Now you know the best ways to wash, peel, and store tomatoes so they are always clean, flavorful, and ready for your recipes. You have seen how salt water gives a deeper clean, how both the air fryer and boiling water can make peeling easy, and how freezing can keep your extra tomatoes fresh for later use. These simple methods can save time and reduce waste while keeping all the natural taste. Have you tried any of these techniques before? Or do you have your own favorite way to prepare tomatoes? Share your thoughts in the comments. If this video was helpful, remember to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you will not miss the next kitchen tip. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.